I'm going to review this CCTV tester. This is sent to me for free by Banggood, so disclosure. Just take a look at it. There'll be links down below as well, so I've got a discount code. So if you are interested in getting something like this, and you like this particular unit, or at least you want to get and look at it and see find out more information, go to the Banggood link down below. I've got a link to the actual item obviously, and as I say, I've got a discount code as well, so if you do want to buy one, use the discount code, get a little bit of money off it. Okay, let's get stuck into it. Now, I did actually have this open once before when I was doing the mailbag video. This is a IPC-5200 Plus, and it does quite a bit. So there's the front cover if you want to see that. Quick detail. So it comes with a user manual obviously. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you've not been here before. Covers a lot of stuff. Seems quite comprehensive. I've had a bit of a little flick through it. I haven't really looked at it too deeply, but it does seem to cover all the basic situations and all sort of main usages that you may want to have. Right, let's get into it. Let's have a look in this box. It's quite a nice case. It's actually a hard case. It's pretty nice. Oh, there's a unit. I've been upside down. If you saw the mailbag video, you would have seen me get this out briefly and have a quick look at it and just show you what I actually got. Now, I've actually had a little bit of play around with this and powered it up and that sort of stuff, and actually had it going a little bit and tried to familiarise myself with it a little bit. But I put it back to how it's received. So it's inside the packaging. There's a isolator here on the battery. I'll show you that. So before you can turn it on, you have to take the battery cover off. And inside here is a tab you have to pull out so you enable the battery. So slide that out. That is now the battery powered up. Well, battery engaged. It has a screen protector on it. I'm inclined to, I mean, as you can see, it's got this peel label thing here. I'm going to take that off because that's just annoying me. But I'm not actually going to peel the extra protection layer off. I'm going to leave it in place because sometimes every layer of protection is a good thing. But I want to leave it on there to help protect the screen because I actually don't want to take that off. There we go, that's that peeled off. So I've got the extra protection layer on there. I mean, the touch screen worked absolutely fine with that film in place, so I've left it on there to help protect it. That's the only reason. Otherwise, normally you'd pull that film off, and I'd normally get like a bit of a film peeling process when I do a review video. I peel the film off and then get a bit of a nice shot of that in slow-mo and that sort of stuff. Anyway, this time I've deprived you all of that and I've decided to keep this film on. So we also have in a pouch, I suppose, and the pouch, I don't know, case. Bag of bits in here. And AC charger. Now this one isn't actually the right charger for my country. It did come with this not in place, it pops in. I don't know if I can actually get a different fitting for that. Anyway, it's just a standard 12 volt 1 amp charger, centre positive, so easy to replace that, and it's a standard 2.1mm size as well, so nothing too exciting there. I've got a bunch of these things lying around. It's really common kind of value and size and current, and it's only for charging it anyway. In the bag we have a number 255 cable tester. So you put that on the end of an Ethernet cable and you test the cable, make sure it works. Have a DC cable, which is a, I don't know what size is that, it's 2.1mm to something else. What's that, 1.6 is it? I don't know what they are. That's just an output cable, so you can plug this into the top of the unit and then it provides a 12 volt output which you can then use to power a camera. We have a 3.5mm stereo jack with 2 connectors on it. I'm not quite sure what that's for. Oh, sorry, it's not under here. Audio in, so if you want to test audio circuitry. Check the audio for my camera. Put that back in there for now. We have a RS485 connection as well. Similar sort of thing, cock leads on it. We have a BNC cable. Pretty nice lightweight one, pretty skinny. I'm guessing it's 75 ohm. Being video, I would have thought it would be 75 ohm. I can see some text on here. 300 volt rated, 80 degrees C, 24 AWG. No, can't see a resistance on there. See A78, but I don't think that's going to be it. So BNC cable, you do need a skinny, well, this kind of connector. You kind of one which has got a big shroud around it, or quite a large one, because the BNCs are slightly recessed on here. So in order to get those in there, you need a connector which actually fit down that hole. I do actually have some connectors which won't fit. I do have others which do fit as well, but it's nice they supply one. We have some straps. This is like a arm strap, I think. I think you can like put it on your wrist. That's what it seems to be, because it's got this attachment here. You feed this through. That's what it looks like. Maybe not that way, maybe the other way. I don't know, I'm guessing here. Yeah, it'll feed through. And then you can obviously put that in your arm or something, so you can use it hands-free when you're up a ladder or something like that, I'm guessing. Could be handy. So this appears to be a lanyard. It's also got this attachment here, so what you do, you disconnect that, and you'll stick that on this corner here, you feed that through, and then you can hang it off your neck instead. I'm not sure about this little thin loop being strong enough to hold this. I'm not sure I'd trust it. I mean, it might be fine. It might be really, really strong. Also, then you've got the aspect of this thing swinging around your neck, and you could bump into something and break the screen, so I'm not keen on that myself. I don't know, maybe there's uses. Maybe you want to hang it off something rather than hang it off your neck. I'm just presuming you get it off your neck. Let's turn it on. So the button's up here, you have to hold it. The lights go on, so it's turning on. It takes a little while to boot up, but it seems fine. I mean, it's not that bad really. Let's wait through that. So it does IP cameras and analog cameras as well, so you use digital and analog cameras. And that's why it's got a LAN port up the top here, so you actually put into your network and actually check cameras on your existing network and that sort of stuff. It's got a testing port down here, and it's also got a VGA input as well, or output, I'm not quite sure what it is. And HDI, or HD input on a HDMI socket. It does HD-SDI, EX-SDI, AHD, CVI and TVI. I'm not a camera expert, right? I don't know a huge amount about security cameras or anything like that, and video stuff. It's not really my field. But I do have security camera systems, and I've played with systems, multiple systems in the past, and got a system here in my house. Some of the stuff I'm a little bit familiar with, some of it I really don't have a clue. Like all these definitions, I've got no idea. New to me. Like, so if you're in this field and you're actually used to this kind of equipment, then you probably know exactly what they are. I don't. Okay, let's have a close look at the screen. IPC Test Pro, which is for doing IP cameras. Auto HD, which is doing for analog cameras. And there's also like these as well. There's some subcategories and network and cable testing, stuff like that. It's got a whole bunch of features it has. So if you go to IP Test Pro, obviously it's touchscreen. And you can put this onto an IP camera network. Just plug in an IP camera and it will check the network. It's got PoE as well and that sort of stuff, and it's really handy like that. Lots of features. So I'll just plug in the network cable from my network just here. And it's complaining about usernames and stuff, that's fine. Some of my network cameras that are showing up on here right now. Let me see if I can get onto one of them. This scrolls up and down as well, so you can actually find all the cameras on your network. Let me find one which I can show you. So there you go, there's one of my network cameras going off there. Right, so that's working okay. Showing data rates as well on the network, things like that over here, shows you what's going on. So when you're in your cameras, you can also go in here, you can also do things like, set up the admin password stuff. You can log into the cameras, you enable them. This is a Hikvision system, and you can do batch enabling and that sort of stuff, and you change your video settings and all sorts of features in here. It covers just about everything you want, I think. Now, one thing I've actually noticed, when I'm touching the screen, the actual touch point is below where my finger is. See that? Can you see that dot? It's actually below where you expect it to be. So I'm finding that when I'm using this thing, I have to touch a bit above that. So wherever the touchscreen calibration's been done, it's actually sitting a little bit out of alignment to my actual touch, which is a little bit annoying, I suppose. So you've got these buttons down the side here you can use. You tap on more, you got these other functions. So if you've got OnVIF, for example, and OK, you load up the OnVIF camera systems. And because I don't actually have this configured for my network, it's going to give me errors because I'm not got the passwords and stuff set up for the various cameras. But so we come back out of that. So if you want to test an IP camera, you can do that quite easily. If you want to test a analog camera, you can do that too. IP camera test gives you different options in here. A lot of these things I'm not familiar with, but PoE and power info as well, it's quite information. So you can actually plug the camera in, see what power it's using. You got the Auto HD, which goes straight into an app, which will show when I actually do camera testing. I actually plug a camera into it and we'll see that. But it's also got the sub menu, which does Auto HD as well, and all the other stuff, the other ones it also supports, which are used on the analog inputs here. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Network and cable testing, you use this little dongle thing here and you can test a cable, make sure it's working okay. And also got ID45 TDR test, whatever that is. I guess that's the wiring testing It also gives you a diagram showing what the wired colours should be for the various types. And it's also got apps as well. It's also got IVMS and things like that in it, so you can do remote networking, so you can actually view cameras remotely on it. This has Wi-Fi as well. It's got a flashlight, just here, which you also control from the screen here. It's got VLC and all sorts of things. So anything you may need for doing video camera work appears to be on here. I mean, I would say, like I said, this isn't my field, but IVMS is something that I have used myself, so I'm familiar with that one. And down here we've got File Explorer, so you can see the system stuff and anything you may have saved on the device. Settings, lots of languages in here. Date time setting, do it manually, you can also do it automatically over network. IP settings for your networks. Wireless LAN, so yes, I will be setting up the Wi-Fi, and I'll do that soon. Brightness settings, volume control, SD card, so I don't actually have an SD card in it right now, the slot is currently empty. FTP server, version information, you probably want to see that. And this is all the various systems it supports, the software versions most likely. Screen rotation, you can rotate the screen. To me this seems like the right way up anyway, so I'm not going to bother. PTZ address scanning, so you can actually scan with PTZ cameras. User management, I don't have anything set up on that obviously. Lock screens, stuff like that. Test to play, forgotten what that was. Factory default power off, button mode selection. I haven't looked at that yet. So these are these buttons down the side, and you turn the keyboard clicks off if that annoys you. Personally I quite like it as a confirmation you've actually pushed a button. And you've got a network tool as well, which jump back into this section, which has got a bunch of stuff as well, which is very similar to the IP camera stuff. So you actually check a network and see what's on the network. So you've got IP scan, so you can plug it into your network and you can scan the network and it tells you all devices it finds. You've got network testing, port flashing, so if you've got plugged into a network you can flash the ports so you know which connection you're actually on. DHCP obviously. Trace route, so you want to pronounce it depending which country you're in. So you can put an IP address and it will trace it and find out what the ping is. Handy for trying to diagnose network problems. And then we've got link monitor, which I have no idea about. So when you connect it to your Wi-Fi network, which I've just done, you see the little Wi-Fi symbol up there as well, next to the battery symbol. So you can see you're actually on the network. Let's see if I can actually do a network test now through Wi-Fi. Let's see if that works. Just an IP scan. Start it. Yep, through Wi-Fi it works as well. Excellent. So I've got my spare security camera sitting around. I really should put this up one day. Anyway, it's a chunky thing. Let's plug into this. So we've got 12 volt power output on the top. Can do up to 3 amps. This camera is both analog and IP. It has both. So we can test both systems out, which is really good for this. So we'll plug the power in first. And then we'll do the analog camera first. Back up to that one. Back up to this one. So I do Auto HD. It might still be putting the camera up, we'll see. See if it gets a picture or not. No signal yet. Let's try through this menu instead. Let's try this one. Sometimes it matters. But it could be the camera still booting up. Okay, so that's all working. So if you need to test a picture, test the camera out, to set it all up and that sort of stuff, then you can do that. So if you need to do that sort of thing, you can. It's also got PTZ options. At least through analog you can't really do it, I don't think. I don't believe you can. And also you've got the various other modes as well you can use for those cameras and those video inputs. So when you're in the IP camera system, you've got an option here, power output, so you can turn a PoE option on or off. So when it is on, it also tells you the voltages and the power up here as well, what it's actually doing. So that's quite handy to know. So it gives you full control of the PoE system, so you can power camera through PoE through the IP system, which is quite nice. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. So another thing you actually do, you can drag down the screen up here. I guess you got to try and get in just the right spots. Better do it, have you? I don't know. Anyway, if you drag from the left side instead, you get a little help menu. So I'm not going to mess around too much with this, trying to get this particular camera working, because I don't know what the password is for it. I've pre-configured this thing before when I was playing with it, and I've forgotten what that was. So I'm not going to worry about that too now. I mean, you got an idea anyway. You've seen the analog cameras, you saw the video cameras working on my network as well. So you can see that all does work when you have your network and your cameras configured. And if you know the passwords, then it's not a problem, but I can't remember what the password is for this camera. yeah, it's pretty handy things. Let's check the network cable tester out, shall we? We haven't looked at that yet. So I think we plug this on the bottom. It says UTP or scan or something. I don't know. Let's try that. See if this works on the bottom one. I think it works on this one. Let's plug that in there. I haven't tried this bit yet myself. Cable tester. One gigabit through, so 1000 M for megabit, so gigabit, and it's all shows as being okay. It's not showing any crossed over wires or anything like that. Right, so that's the result it's given me, so that looks fine. So this is a crossover cable I've just plugged in. I've had this for years. I only used it once, I think. Anyway, let's make sure it's all connected properly because the plugs are not great either. Plug that back in. It's fallen out. And there we go. It's showing as a crossover cable, 100 megabit crossover. So this cable here is not actually a full Ethernet cable. It's got some, I don't know, what's it got? 3 or 4 wires in it. I can't see. Anyway, we'll plug this one in. See what this one does. Yeah, it's got 4 wires in there. 1 megabit through cable. You notice it also has like a tick error cross, so it means it could potentially be missing connections. So it's just identifying that it could be a through cable if it's okay, otherwise it's got missing connections, so that's fine. Actually identifies which one it is. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. So the reason I actually requested this thing from Banggood to do a review on it is because I actually wanted a camera tester. My wife's car's got built-in factory cameras, so it's got a reversing camera, it's also got a blind spot camera in the front, and that all works with the original factory stereo. And my plan was actually to try and hopefully trace the original video camera signals. They are there somewhere. The factory stereo location doesn't have anything obvious there. It's been a camera signal. What I thought it might have been turned out I couldn't get anything out of it. So I thought, right, if I get one of these things, I could probably probe around and actually use this to try and trace those video signals and hopefully find the things. I mean, I could put in like a DC blocking capacitor or something like that. I could put a capacitor in series so it blocks any DC. That way I only pass a video signal. I could do something like that. And I could use this to probe around and hopefully find the video camera signals. That's the plan. Whether it ends up being successful, I don't know. I really want that camera system working on that car because it's got a nice big stereo I've installed. It's got a double DIN stereo in there now, which has got a video camera feature on it. So it's got reversing camera options and those kinds of things, which I'd really like to get working on it. So that was the purpose of buying that particular stereo in the first place, so that we could actually try and hook up the reversing camera and the other stuff as well and get it usable without having to put in an aftermarket camera and use the built-in ones. It's been a challenge. Don't forget to check out the links down below for this. Don't forget discount codes and everything's down there as well. Hope you found it interesting. Catch you later. Bye.